Um, well, very, very good question. So if you want your business to flourish, you need room to grow. So you need to invest in people, in technology, in a workplace, physical or connected, in training. So I would say the first challenge is often linked to administrative burden. So time management is essential during this phase of rapid growth. And leaders, they need to focus on product development and on business development. So they don't always have the time to do proper HR management. So they either underestimate the role of HR or they rely on simplified outsourced HR. Startup CEOs, they also need to run a safe and compliant business. And this starts from day one, even when you have just one employee. So this includes like, how do you run a payroll? Do you file taxes? How do you onboard new hires? Sometimes how do you apply for visas? But as they grow fast, turnkey solutions are not enough anymore. So workplace regulations evolve and scale-ups will require like real HR to establish and document new processes. And that's what I would focus on. It's not just about having the right tool, it's also about putting in place the right processes. For example, there has been in Europe a lot around GDPR, like the General Data Protection regulation, and even startup had to comply. So they needed to put in place processes very early in the process to make sure that they were compliant.
Yeah.
So yeah, at this point, once again, I think it's not just the tools, but it's processes that are important. Also, another frequently mentioned challenge is about recruitment. Like the recruitment process, which goes from defining your employer brand, defining the employee value proposition, and also candidate acquisition and onboarding. But in addition to that, people analytics have become something that you cannot avoid. Like analyzing your employees and your applicants' data can really inform better decisions. And it can lead you to make more strategic actions. So you need to start collecting this people data early on and to be aware to scan for signals inside your own environment. And another topic is online brand reputation. It must be checked today on websites like Glassdoor, and it needs to be worked on if necessary. If your reputation is hurt, it is so hard to fix. So you need to care for it from the start. And onboarding is key. During the scale-up phase, so this acceleration phase, leaders are working so much, they tend to just sit down new hires. They will forego formalities and put them directly straight to work. But this tends to lead to poor performance and low retention rates. So leaders need to take the time to train employees, new hires, and to introduce them to the corporate culture. And I would say that's the third challenge, like corporate culture and managing the cultural change. Because as the company grows, the role of the founding team must change from entrepreneur to really leader of people. So they must accept CEOs and co-founders to relinquish control over part of the operations. But too often, founders want to retain a huge amount of influence across all areas of business, and they want to continue to make key people decisions. But they have to accept that HR has a role to play. And that's for their own good, so they can spend more time on growing the business and leading by example. So it's important to remember that the company culture does not only belong to the founders, it really belongs to the people they hire. And maybe if I have one more minute, I would add another specificity of growth strategy and business acceleration. Growth drivers consist in finding the right product market fit. And then they will implement the right go-to-market strategy. That's usually where you can see if the company is on the right track. These key indicators will notably bring investors on board and further develop the business. But there's something new. Now VC firms like Andreessen Horowitz, for example, are expecting the companies to reach what they call the product zeitgeist fit, which I find is a really interesting concept. It means products need to fit perfectly with the spirit of our times. And to give you an example from these days, you can think of face masks during COVID, for example, and how smart companies pivoted to adapt. to this very specific times we're living. And I like to go even further by pushing the companies I work with to find their product preferred future fit, which is adapting the product to their preferred future, the one they want to build. It means not only think in the 3-year profitability, but or the next round of funding, but really to engage in an even more sustainable vision with an horizon like closer to 10 years. So I really think we are going in that direction, and that's why I actually engage in future studies.